Thanks for this opportunity. Of course, I'm going to talk about water. Got a one-trick pony. I just wanted to be sure you were aware of an article that came out a couple days ago. There's a partnership between IFAS and St. John's River Water Management District. They're doing another study on Silver Springs, and the reason that matters to the Hawthorne area is that you are in the Silver Springs spring shed. I'll just quote this off of the article here. The St. John's District Chief Scientist Ed Lowe said the study will build on the foundation of earlier scientific endeavors and aim to provide irrefutable evidence for policymakers and regulators as to the most effective steps economically and environmentally to take to save the springs, which of course is also our groundwater. The earlier studies confirmed and reconfirmed that nitrates and other pollutants coupled with reduced flow caused by overpumping of the aquifer have led to the degradation of Silver Springs. Studies by the state and water district show that agriculture, septic tanks, stormwater runoff, and fertilizers are the leading producers of nitrate loads that cause massive algae blooms in Silver Springs as well as the rest of Florida's once pristine springs. Furthermore, the district conceded that after years of denial that the Floridan aquifer cannot sustain Marion County's thirst for water. I think the district is realizing we are beyond the point of sustainable use, Lowe said. So that's pretty a pretty bold statement from the district to say something like that. So as far as of course, the groundwater withdrawals are an issue. The huge permit increase is a concern for anybody that's thinking about these sorts of things. The stormwater runoff, anything making it into La Calusa Creek, La Calusa Lake, going across Cross Creek into Orange Lake. Of course, a lot of that's going to go down into the sinkholes in Orange Lake, which makes its way into the aquifer. And even though you're in the 1,000-year recharge zone here, there was a dye trace test a few years ago in Orange Lake that showed the water moved from the Orange Lake sinkhole down to the prison in Ocala in less than 3 months. So it moves very fast. So I'm a little confused about the permit increase. The chart tonight said an average of, on the high end, 1.5 million gallons per day combined. Last week, and then tonight it said 729,000 gallons a day. And then you want a permit for 5 million gallons a day. That leaves 3.5 million gallons a day for putting out fires, fire insurance. So it seems like an excessive amount, and I'm curious if you started to pursue that permit increase yet. And also on the plan, there's the 42 acres of commercial will be allowed to have irrigation systems, and that kind of keeps getting left out. So I want to make sure that would be a lot of water that would be used. Can you answer the question about the permit?
Sure. We have not started working on the permit as far as for extending it from 2025. That's correct, City Manager. So we haven't started working on that. So, but I do appreciate what you're doing as far as on being one of the water warriors around the state and what you're doing and following you on Facebook and everywhere else. So thank you for that. Yeah, advocate. Yeah. So
not a war.
No. I don't know. Lately, there's a water war around the country.
Like the fighting and us and the
advocate.
we all need the same thing. Everybody's trying to accomplish something good.
Exactly.
But there are warnings. I don't always agree with the district, obviously, or DEP in particular. But
okay.
I hope you will take precaution. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Rob Brinkman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners.
Nope. I think you hit the button. Hit the button.
Oh.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
You muted yourself.
I was just holding the bass down. I inadvertently turned myself off. My name is Rob Brinkman. I'm not a resident of the city of Hawthorne. I do live right off Hawthorne Road, but on the other side of Noonan's Lake. I am also a member of the Envision Alachua Task Force. Additionally, I serve as the chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee to the MTPO, and I also serve on the Rural Concerns Committee, which advises the County Commission on issues of residents in rural areas of Alachua County. I am not paid for any of those things, just so that is clear. From the very first task force meetings, and one of the reasons I am pleased to speak here tonight, one of the things I advocated was that this project should start the development in Hawthorne. It seemed to me to make sense. First of all, that was the nexus of the most significant infrastructure that is really one of the reasons for this project, the intersection of 301 and State Road 20, as well as the railroad line. Obviously, the city of Hawthorne could use more people to enable it to expand its infrastructure. It is expensive to run a water system and a sewer system with too few of customers on the system. The more customers you have, the less everyone has to pay. I am also very pleased that Plum Creek has continued with the water restrictions that are in the larger Envision Alachua plan for the entire sector plan project. Specifically, and I think this addresses some of the previous speakers' concerns, obviously water is a huge concern. The fact of the matter is, though, a lot of new residential development uses way too much water. And actually, about 10 years ago, I attended a regional utilities committee of the Gainesville City Commission meeting where GRU staff made a presentation to the Gainesville City Commission that, as I said, this is about 2005, that over the last 10 years, they had been tracking the increase in water usage. And one thing they'd noticed is virtually all new houses built nowadays come with automatic sprinkler systems. It's kind of like VCRs. Most people don't know how to use them very well. And they were able to attribute almost the entire increase over the 10 years, late 1990s, early 2000s, in the city of Gainesville on their water system to those automatic sprinkler systems. And frankly, getting people away from that will help a lot in reducing water. So I definitely support this plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Brinkman, and appreciate your work as well in our environment around the county. All right. Tracy Marinella.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Commissioners.
You can pull the mic down if you like.
Okay, I live right on County Road 2082, just up the road here, and recently I went around and took a bunch of pictures of all the stagnant laying water. I know we had a lot of rain this year, but even on the dry years, right here along County Road 2082, there's a huge wetland area that always stays wet. And when you start building in one area, you know, the water has to go somewhere, and every time I make a statement or ask a question, I come to another meeting and there's a new beautiful little PowerPoint explaining how that's not going to affect us. So I just like to point out one thing is they have all the answers, and sometimes you have to question someone who has all the answers. The other thing I like to point out is I moved here in 1992, and we had almost 1,500 residents in the city. And here it is, 2015. We still have almost 1,500 residents in this city. People have come and tried to, you know, zone in more land, change the zoning. They did it to my land out there in Little Orange Lake. There was no development. Nobody wanted to buy. They did it out here just behind the Swanee Swifty. They were going to bring a big development. Nobody bought anything. It never happened. So these guys have all the answers. You might want to question why they have all the answers. The other thing I'd point out is I would like to point out is what is the price range of these houses that are going to be built? And when I spoke with Miss Ellen Voss, she said no housing developments will be built until the businesses come in to bring the jobs first. So if that's true, let's not clear this land over here of all the native trees on the north side of County Road 2082 and just leave it looking bad in case the development doesn't happen. You know, I'm fine with what they do on their land, growing their pine. They can cut that all they want, but we have beautiful native trees up and down this road, and I don't want to have to drive up and down this road every day and look at a wasteland like it looks like further down on County Road 2082 when you get to the dirt road. We in the county have no voice. We don't get a chance to vote on this. We don't get a chance to vote for you that represent the city. So where is our voice? You know, we have no say in what happens here. And some of us who live outside of the city do not trust this plan. I've been following it for a couple years myself. I've been to a couple of the meetings, and I just don't believe it. And, you know, they have a lot of slick answers when they just said, just tonight, they said they intend to pay. They intend to do this. They intend to do that. That's not legal words. I can stand up here tonight and tell you all about what I'm intending to do, but you can't hold me accountable for that. So just question, please. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to address some of it, especially if we have a whole bunch of empty promises as far as nothing ever happening like some of the other projects, then we have nothing to worry about. This is all for nothing. Well, it's not. This isn't something to clear land. This is something to change the designation of it. This isn't something to clear it. This is just changing it from being the county and into the city. And as far as voting and stuff, if you live in Putnam County, you don't get to vote for Commissioner Ken Cornell, who's in Alachua County. So you have to be in Alachua County to vote for an Alachua County commissioner. Same thing, you have to be in the city limits of Hawthorne to vote for a City of Hawthorne commissioner. But we do have other avenues as far as participating, as far as on our boards, in our groups, in our citizen organizations, here at the meeting, a chance to speak and talk to commissioners and a chance to interact. And that's what the whole democratic process is about. So thank you, and thank you for still asking those questions, because that's what needs to be done. Appreciate it. Susan Baird on the comprehensive plan amendment.
Good evening again, Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, Susan Baird. And the way I look at this whole thing is more of Alachua. When I say we, I'm talking about the entire Alachua, and we as in you and the Hawthorne, because we're really one big group that's working together, and what helps you always helps the county and vice versa, but especially when something helps you. We're really fortunate to have a partner to set the foundation for future opportunities. Very few companies are willing to take that time, energy, effort, inclination to get land use zoning changes, which is what I'm in support of, this comprehensive plan amendment, so that you can set the foundation. You're not approving anything yet. You're not, you're just setting the foundation straight so that these companies can. We can only go ahead and look up in the Northwest where Alachua, which I thought the gauntlet was dropped, to see if we could go ahead and kind of mimic that type of success story. The way they have Progress Park, the way they have a lot of other redistribution centers, you have much more opportunity. Why? Because the land is much greater, and when you have big swaths of land, then there's bigger opportunity for, let's say, major manufacturing, where they really pay well for all levels, from the GED to the PhD to every single one. So the opportunities are even greater and even better set. So you do have already some precedent as to what could happen if we go ahead and start that process. And when somebody said, slow down, take your time, it's been 4 years that this process has been going on. If we do nothing, it will continue with the trajectory that we have continuously seen, which is not good. You look at Archer, the city of Archer is having major problems as well. They need a whole sewer system. They need some critical mass development and people to come in to help to get those numbers offset. Those are very good questions and issues to bring up. So I commend you for going ahead and moving this forward to go ahead and set that foundation so that, yes, we can keep more young folks here. We have opportunity to keep them here, and not that they have to go away or drive some ungodly amount of hours just to get to work and come back if they choose to stay, because it's very difficult. So I commend you for really looking deeply into this, asking all the great questions. The water ethic is fabulous, because like you said, growth is going to happen in Florida. It might as well happen somewhere where this water ethic is so great, where we have the opportunity here to really make a big difference and help many others. Thank you so much. And my recommendation is to support the change. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for your service as well on the County Commission. All right. Brenda Wesley. Did I get it right? Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I do not live in the city of Hawthorne. I live right outside. Their land circles me. I have 2 different farms close to here, within 5 miles of here. The farm, their land goes around both farms. My biggest, in 2004, we bought land up here. We lived in West Palm Beach. And as you know, West Palm Beach was growing, growing, growing. At the present, I would not want this area to grow like that area grew. I just want you to be very cautious and watch. I have horses. I love to ride the horses. We want to have the opportunity for our children to be raised on farms where they have the animals that a lot of city people don't have. And I don't know about you, but on Friday afternoon, if I'm trying to get through,
Yeah, we couldn't hear.
if I'm trying to get through Gainesville, I can't get through Gainesville because of the traffic. We don't want that traffic out here. I have very ambivalent feelings about the growth here. It could grow, but don't let it overgrow.
Right.
Because we don't want overgrowth that we can't get where we're going.
Right.
So thank you very much, and I like living here.
Thank you, and it's good to have you. And I'm very familiar with the Palm Beach area, especially the Wellington area where a lot of the horses and stuff are. But as you say, we don't want that kind of growth up here. Even looking around the county, I know we have a mayor from Alachua here, but as much as I envy Alachua, we don't want to be Alachua. We want maybe some of the opportunities that they have. We want to be Hawthorne, so we don't want to be Gainesville. And I use that example a lot of times, especially on the west side of Gainesville. If the county commission, because that's in the unincorporated area, if the county commission or the city commission of Gainesville could go back now and do what we're doing before all that came, they would take this in a heartbeat as far as being able to plan for when people do come. Where are they going to go? Where are we going to put them? How are we going to maintain the character of what makes Hawthorne Hawthorne? And I think that's an important part for us to keep in mind, and future people as well. Long after any of us are gone and other people come in and fill our shoes, we want them to have that same enjoyment of our Hawthorne character. So thank you. Charla Head-Jones.
That was a trip.
It's all downhill.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioner, and good evening, City of Hawthorne. I am Charlotte Head Jones, and I'm here. I am not a resident of the City of Hawthorne, but I am a resident of Alachua County. And I wear many hats in Gainesville professionally, and I'm also a minister at my church. But I'm here today as a resident of Alachua County and also as a concerned mother. August 18th, 2015, I realized that I had moved away from my hometown in East St. Louis, Illinois, and I had been gone away for 25 years. I left to attend Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, and when I kissed my mother goodbye, when she dropped me off, I knew that I was not going to return. I was not going to return because there were very few to no opportunities for me or my sisters in that city or that predominant area. I look at Envision Alachua as being an opportunity for my 4 sons, an opportunity for them to grow, an opportunity for them to stay in this area. This is a blessing not only to Alachua County, but to the North Central Florida area. I support Plum Creek and this opportunity because I've gone on the website, I've looked at various articles to see if it was real. I'm a real person and I want to be a part of something real. And all the research that I have done, I do not believe that this will be an empty promise. I believe that Plum Creek will come through on all that has been presented, and I think that in order for us to grow, in order for the economy to be changed, that this is something that we most definitely need. So I support it, and I wholeheartedly wish that you all support it as well and allow for the growth to take place. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Kenneth S. Davis. Bear with me, I only have 2 more cards up here, and I think one's during citizen comment, so just one more on this issue itself. Welcome, Mr. Davis.
Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, somebody left a nice pen here. My name is Kenneth Davis. For the past 20 years, I have spent my legal career as a practitioner of eminent domain. And while I don't take a position on this development, I would like to throw up some flags that somebody better watch for. I apologize for not being better prepared. I have read through a good hunk of this, but I am not well prepared on the whole matter. The auditor's report contains some facts and figures about future expenditures, and that the expenditures would easily wipe out all the money that Hawthorne has in the bank. There was a person who spoke today on providing a level of service. A level of service is required and must be done. The level of service is not clear in the maps that I've looked at to be adequately addressed by the developer. They wave their hand, the developer will do all. They're capable, they're a company that has the ability to do that, but that's a bit of a much waiver of the hand. If somebody is discussing somewhere not in public that to give out the level of service that is necessary, and that their plan, if they need public property or to use eminent domain to acquire it, let me tell you, I've tried over 30 cases of eminent domain, and the cost to the city of Hawthorne to do that would bankrupt you. And I don't mean taking all wide props. I'm talking about a strip off of one of the commercial properties would be an expensive process. So I just caution that you want to, if you're going to do a project and that project is going to require a level of service, and in order to provide that level of service, you're going to need public property, then and to get that property, you would contemplate using eminent domain. May suggest to you that's a very, very expensive process.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Lori Wiggins. And you have to forgive me, I have another one that was handed to me, so.
Y'all will have to forgive me. I'm really nervous. I'm Plum Creek's biggest opponent. I've only found out about this 2 years into it. It is a very rural area out here, and it's very difficult to reach everybody. I've lived here my whole life. I'm a country girl. I want to keep it that way. I raised my kids that way, and I want my kids to have the opportunity to raise their kids as country kids. The only reason I found out about this was by a stand by our plan sign. About 10 years ago, I moved to Melrose. It was on 26, and I was stunned that this had gone on for 2 years, and I never heard a word about it. This has happened to a lot of people. I started talking to people, asking them about it, and I found out that a lot of people didn't know. My brother has a farm that his property butts right up to Plum Creek lands. They will share a swamp head. His wife is living her dream of being a farmer. They've gone to farm organically now. So a very big concern for me is runoff from the manufacturing, from the railway, from all the development that will be butt up against their property. I do a lot of photography work. I've been out Hatchet Creek, back in the woods. Early in the morning, when the sun glints across the water, you can see a rainbow. All of that runoff is simply from cars, oil, gas, that kind of thing. I'm really concerned, and I would really like to know that special effort is being made, that their farm won't be destroyed by runoff from development, from things that happen. I would just like to be assured that they will still be able to live their dream, that I will still be able to have the rural life that I grew up with for my grandchildren. I want to know that that will be there for them. And I really, really would like to see the city commission, some of their landowners that have property that's surrounded by this area, they have expressed that they would like for you guys to come out and see their land. My brother said when he goes out there, he is knee-deep in mud. And he's really concerned about how this development will affect his land. I would really like to see the city commission and all of us, I've already got with Rose, so that maybe we could get together to go out there as a group, because we're all from here, and talk together about this and how it will affect us, because I really feel like the city commission also needs to know those people that they're affecting with this decision, and give them an opportunity to get to know you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Vice versa.
Thank you, Lori. And as far as my contact, I'm always happy to go out anywhere and meet with anybody, as you know. And for anybody that doesn't have it, my cell phone is 258 4702. You can call me anytime. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, everything else, city email. Feel free to contact me as well as any of the other commissioners, and they'd be happy as well just to talk with anybody. We're open and available, and I've been on a lot of that land that's around it way before any of this was talked about, back when I was in high school, and even growing up before then as well. So as far as with the runoff and everything, it is state statute. It does have to go through St. Johns River Water Management. It does have to go through the county as well as going through the Army Corps of Engineers. And if you've ever dealt with the Army Corps of Engineers, it's nothing exciting to do as far as trying to get anything through. They make they overcompensate on everything. So I think that's one of the big things for that. But I appreciate your comments, and we'll talk later on it. Real quick. Right. I understand the county standards, and yeah. All right. Right, ma'am. Either come up to the mic or just stay back there. But as far as the county standards and the state standards, we've already addressed that it's going to be with the state standards at the time. So thank you. I knew what you were getting to. All right. Vivian Fowler.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the commission. First, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak. And I have heard a lot of what I agree with in terms of what the task force has spoken of, because I've served on the task force for the past 4 years. I'm excited about the fact that Plum Creek has been very transparent in everything they've done. I am encouraged by the fact that the newspapers, the TV, the websites, all of those have everything. All the minutes that have been taken are there. There are DVDs on the website. There are things to be seen and listened to get answers to questions. But I came up to talk about education because we are in this education facility tonight, the very one that my husband taught in for so very many years. So education was big to him and for him. One of the things that inspired me most when this group started to meet was that everybody from Hawthorne, from all around, talked about the fact that we don't need to plan all of the education through colleges for our children. We need trade schools. We need places where children can serve as apprentices and be able to go. We need to be able to attract the kids on the street who have dropped out of school. We have addressed all of that as sort of spill-off from what's going to happen, but it had to be done because the vision was to go farther than putting them in a house and on a job. If we don't keep our children in the educational system, they can't hold the jobs. So we have planned to the point that there has been a young people's group organized just to tell us what to project down the line. If there are any young people in here tonight that would like to join that group, I'm sure they'd be welcome to do that. I think it's so important to realize that we're not talking about the entire plan taking 50 years. Things will be happening over time. I don't know of any plans that are done for 5 years or 10 years. If you're doing a plan, a strategic plan, you have to plan ahead. And that's what Plum Creek has done. They have the ability to do that. They've gone through all of the processes to do that, and they have not left out the young people, and that has been inspirational to me, and I see it as such a big factor in what we're doing, and I thank you so very much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler, and I appreciate what your husband did in many of our lives here at Hawthorne High School, teaching us a little bit of typewriting and computer classes, so thank you. All right. That's the end of the citizen comments that I have for this one. This last one is for regular citizen comments. So on this topic, so City Commission, is there any further comment from you or staff, or what would be the will of the commission for first reading? We've already had the reading of the ordinance. Is that correct, City Attorney? So we've already had the reading of the ordinance as well. Once again, this is first reading.
Mr. Mayor?
Vice Mayor?
I'm ready to make a motion.
All right.
Offer motion that we approve the ordinance as presented and direct the transmittal of the comprehensive plan amendments to the Department of Economic Opportunity for expedited review.
I second.
All right, the motion has been made and properly seconded to submit the plan, to approve the plan to submit for Department of Economic Opportunity for expedited review. Is there any further discussion by the commission? All right, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. All right, motion carries unanimous. Item H, citizen comments. I do have one card for citizen comments. Kenneth Krug, did I say that right? Krug? Yes, sir. And I see some people are leaving. I appreciate you all coming out tonight. I know it's a long drive back, and thank you for your time.
Oh, okay. It was good.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
And commissioners. My name is Kenneth Krug.
Please respect the person speaking, and if you're going to speak, please go outside. Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. Krug.
My wife and I have been residents here in Hawthorne for 10 years. And during the course of my lifetime, I've seen many instances where there's been approval for commercial parks, for residential subdivisions, and invariably they turn out to be a lot like the healthcare program that was enacted here recently in the United States, where the way it was proposed, it's been modified so many times, it's disgusting. And the same thing that I've seen with developments for commercial and residential. It seems like invariably when the body of people that approve these things, invariably they're subjected to modification for one reason or another. My wife and I have been raising livestock here in Florida since 1981, and the speaker tonight spoke so eloquently about the county roads, the state roads that would be utilized for a lot of this. I don't know if any of the commissioners or the mayor has taken a trip on 219A, because 219A being a county road, it's disgusting to see, because I live on 219A, and Mr. Hayward Duggar and his wife, I remember 2 years ago, had the news media out there talking to them about the improvements to 219A, and they said it wasn't scheduled to be resurfaced for another 18 years. Right now, traffic is traveling in the oncoming lanes repeatedly to avoid the potholes. And I know that commercial vehicles, there are more commercial large trucks going down 219A than using 301 or Highway 20. Highway 20, I travel it quite often, and you don't see the big commercial trucks on that highway like you do on 219A, because invariably when they put this industrial park in, there's going to be coming in from Jacksonville and some of the other areas, and they're going to be coming down 219A. And I think that instead of them talking just about the state roads, they're not factoring in the fact that we have lousy roads for the county and nothing seems to be done with it. And that's all I'd like to say.
Yes, sir. And I would agree with you that County Road 219A is not only lousy, but it's horrible. And that's something that we've talked about, the City Commission has talked about back with the County Commission about improving that along with 2082 and making the improvements on those. Those are the main ones around the Hawthorne area that need the most work. So yes, sir, taking into account those arterial roads is definitely going to be important for that. So especially getting it up. And we have, I hate to put him on the hot seat, but Commissioner Ken Cornell here as well, who can take it back to his county commission about the importance of keeping that road up and the amount of traffic it actually does get versus what it's supposed to get. So I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
That Highway 219A is more disgusting than our politicians in Washington.
Thank you. That might be a far reach, but some of them are pretty bad. All right. That's the end of citizen comments. And once again, thank you all for coming. I know some people had to leave early, but thank you all for coming. It really is important to have people engaged in the process. Like Katie said earlier, this room should be filled up with people. And we should have this all the time with people involved in the process at the early stages, later stages, at all the stages, whether it's an important topic like this or something even just smaller, like just recreation or something else that's just basic format. We should have everybody involved. So thank you, and stay engaged in the process. At this time, we'll go to reports, announcements, and information. City Manager, anything?
No report, sir.
A lot of this will be short because we just had a meeting last night, so updates from there. City Attorney, anything?
No, sir.
Commissioner Roberts?
Yes, no report, comment. I just wanted to thank everybody for the positive and the negative. It all hooks together to work together for our good. I was born and raised here in the city of Hawthorne when we didn't have a hospital. I was born by a midwife, Chester Shell's sister Maggie. And so I know the things we've never had in the city of Hawthorne. We had a theater on this side of town and a theater on the other side of town. We had 2 high schools. So the long story short, it's time for a change. There was an article in the newspaper. They referred to us as the armpit of Alachua County, which we are not. We're on the move to have something. And this Plum Creek, and I'm sorry I wasn't at the meeting, I'm 5-year cancer-free as of September 20th, and I thank God for that.
Amen.
So if you didn't see me, thank you. So if you didn't see me at some of the meetings, but it's time for us all to come together. If not now, when? And can we all get along? Thank you.
Commissioner Floyd?
Yes, sir. I thank everybody for coming out tonight, too, also. And I'm just excited to see this thing taking off. And I want to thank Plum Creek. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Bowie?
Yes. I would like to thank everyone for coming out. Tonight has really been a great pleasure, and I want to thank the task force, which I have attended a few times, but they have really been at it since 2011, and I really appreciate all the input from all the different communities that have stepped up to, have a say in what they want to come forth in the city, and I'm all for change. And I'm sure that the city of Hawthorne will control the growth that comes here in this area. Thank you very much.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, I just want to thank all of the speakers that came to the podium tonight to address their pros and cons as far as this endeavor entails. It's been a long road travel, but we're just beginning to do the work that the city so desperately needs. I think at the end of the day, in the next few years, we'll be applauding what Plum Creek has brought to the table and what the citizens has presented to us. So I look forward to working with everyone, citizens as well as Plum Creek. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to wrap it up, once again, thank you all for coming out. The process doesn't stop here. Even after the final hearing, whether it's approved or not approved at the final hearing, it doesn't stop there either. You have to stay engaged. As long as you're alive, you got to stay engaged. I mean, it's a long process, and to keep this like we want it, as far as being a small town character, that's what we're going to have to do. And if there's ever any time you need to contact me or any of the other commissioners, we're always happy to hear from you. So thank you all for coming out. Have a safe trip home. Meeting's adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Move.